everybody. Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 205.
Yeah.
Welcome up in here, Hizzle.
Oh, zero.
Okay, here's the thing. You can't, if you're going to say Hizzle, or you can't say here first, because here in house, because you're saying Hizzle for house.
I'm saying both to mess with you.
But there's one syllable in both. So Hizzle could either be for here or house. It can actually go for both. So don't say here and Hizzle. Just say Hizzle.
I said both just to piss you off.
It works.
I'm just going to Google something real quick.
We may have been having a discussion about the Izzle on my Hizzle.
There wasn't much of a discussion. I told you don't do it ever again, and you ignored me. So now I'm very cross with you.
Yeah, I think maybe you don't want groovy there, patient. You want jive turkey, perhaps. Just
Jive turkey is not a good thing.
yeah.
I don't know what it is. But anyways, welcome to the Fandom Flux Podcast. I'm Zero.
You're the one picking the title.
I am the
me.
one picking the title, yes. So, I'm Casey. Sup? We also have Kizzle of Zizzle X here doing his thing, I guess.
You gotta say thing.
Ain't no thing like a chicken wang.
Ew. Also, I don't think they have those. Do they have? I don't know bird physiology.
Chicken wang.
No one answer that question. I don't really want to know.
Birds are weird.
There's a YouTube video I need to remember to link. It's animated birds. That'll remind me. There we go. That's a thing I need to link because it has valid conversation related to what we were just talking about. Kenshi's also here.
Hi, I'm Kenji618, trying his best to stay away from obsolete and out-of-date slang terms.
And failing.
Yeah.
Also patient. Hi, patient.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but I'm a bit of
Oh, wow.
a
Okay.
compromising situation.
Yeah.
This just in. Patient is currently in the 7th circle of hell and trying to crawl his way up.
Something's going down.
Yeah, we will. Patient, if you put an aside in the chat, we will absolutely mention it. It's probably the best policy for the time being. Yeah, all we heard was crackling there, basically. So, Zero, the hell you been doing this week?
Oh, well, you know, this and that. I've been playing Yakuza Kiwami. I enjoy it very much. Weirdly enough, it links back to Yakuza 0 specifically in a lot of ways that are interesting.
Oh, no, that's not weirdly, that's intentional. Like, Zero came out first
I know,
and
but
then
like,
Kiwami, so.
But I wasn't expecting, like, there's one part where you do the little car subplot that's in there, and it references the car subplot with, like, the many little racers.
Wait, you mean the pocket circuit thing?
Yeah, Pocket Circuit, yeah.
That wasn't in the original, so yeah, they completely added that in as...
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, I like it.
No, it's not, but I'm glad you're having fun with it. I hated
Back,
that shit. I hated it so much.
You see, when I was younger, at like one of these places we were staying for vacation, they had this. They had the whole pocket circuit type thing where you would make your car and you would race it. I loved that as a kid, so it brings back fond memories for me.
Yeah, I had something similar. I think it was tricks or scale X tricks or something like that. Basically the same thing, only the cars are attached to a powered rail, more or less. So,
Yeah.
similar thing. Cars
Yeah,
get
mine
flying
was-
off every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Mine was a bit different, but I remember me and my dad making our car and getting it ready for the race. I can't remember if we won or not, but it was a lot of fun. So, weird link back to childhood memories I had previously kind of forgotten. And I saw with my family, we saw the Commuter, which is taken on a train.
That's a very good description for it from what I saw.
Except job.
That cut out.
Except what's really been taken is his job, and he needs money.
So what you're saying is, I have a particular set of skills.
No.
My family and I were
I
joking.
will
when
hunt
we
you
got done
down,
with
I will find you, and I will check your tickets.
that. My family and I were joking about that. I have a particular set of skills, and then it zooms out, and he's wearing a conductor outfit.
Damn it, patient. Don't humor him, please. Stop it. Now I can't say damn it around patient anymore either. Because he counted with I'm not a beaver.
He's
and
laughing.
he's laughing at me.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, yeah, Taken on a Train. I wouldn't say it was a great movie, but it was fun. You know?
Now I have the
Good
Angry
popcorn
Beavers theme
movie.
in my head.
Aside from that, my friends and I recently started up this Danganronpa Discord RP thing, because my friends just were really interested in doing it. So right now it's kind of just a, for those who don't know, Danganronpa is a video game series about kids who go into an academy and then they end up in a sort of a murder mystery killing game.
Oh, Zero, I've never heard you tell me about this. Tell me more about this thing that I've never, ever heard of.
I'm just saying it for anybody who's new.
Okay.
So we don't have enough people to actually do the killing game parts right now. Just kind of hanging out with our characters. My character is called No Eyes Roberts. He's the ultimate pirate, and he wears 2 eye patches. And it's great. He's also a cyborg.
That was actually a thing in a One Piece story I read once. It's pretty good.
Oh, that's great.
Pretty sure I recommended that story too. It was really great.
I probably didn't read it. I never read enough recommendations. I always miss them. Or after I get too many tabs, and then I have to start closing things down. I think right now I have 28 tabs open.
10, 11, 12. I cut it down recently and now I'm down to 12. Go me.
Yeah. I got to like 40 the other day, and it was starting to get problematic.
God, you guys have problems. I have 5 open.
Aside from that, I started writing more of my Ruby fic, and it's kind of been hard to write for that in recent times.
For reasons.
Various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, all right. So before we got on, they were saying stuff about the 3rd season and how it's not great.
No, the 3rd season's amazing. The 3rd season is the highlight of the entire show. But you should
That's where you
stop
should
that.
end your fic. Yeah.
So after that is the problem. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like writing a bleached fic and then going after Eisen.
Or
Yeah.
writing
Oh, hey, I
Naruto.
have to write about the Fullbringers now. Great.
Or writing Naruto and doing anything after Pain. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
pretty much.
So why don't you do what I do and just ignore everything after that? ignore everything after that point. Don't even talk about it unless you need something from it, which probably won't happen because it hasn't happened for me yet, really.
That's my strategy.
Just do whatever you want. Take bits and pieces of information that you've come across because of the series continuing. Just do nothing with the plot at that point that bothers you. It doesn't have to come into play. Because you're right. If you're writing something completely different, why would it go exactly the way where everything lines up where you need to use that stuff anyway?
All right.
That's just Kenshi's 2 cents.
It's a valuable 2 cents. It's like 3 cents.
Yeah, because my
nickel.
currency. Because my currency is more valuable than other people's currency. I have the best currency. Kenshi bucks.
Kenshi bucks. Spending them will cause you to break your fingers.
Yeah, to buy Kenshi bucks, you need to pay me in real money. Also, Kenshi bucks are not legal tender in any other setting.
Only in Kenshi's house.
Yes.
Gee, look at me. I'm swimming in Kenshi bucks.
I'm aware of it, patient.
Yeah, patient just asked a fan of Judy Blume, Kenshi.
I have a healthy awareness of Judy Blume.
I don't. I've never heard of her, aside from some people in America apparently really like her. I don't know anything about this.
She's an author who wrote like books that were for like young adults, like I'd say around preteen age. Back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of Judy Blume as well. I don't remember much though.
I'm sure there is a British equivalent, but I can't think of one.
Well, that's pretty much it for my week. I've been trying to catch up on various anime that I fell behind during the school year and stuff, but I got nothing really to report back.
Then again, now that I think about it, our schooling starts way earlier than yours does, so I guess, I mean, preteen, we're already talking Shakespeare and actual literature. Like, I was reading Bram Stoker's Dracula for my year 7 classes, which is 11 years old, so...
I performed Macbeth in 8th grade. I was playing the role of Macduff.
So yeah, I guess Roald Dahl maybe? Might skew a little bit younger, but around the same kind of thing. Probably. Yeah, Roald Dahl is pretty great. Patient says he loves Roald Dahl. Big Friendly Giant and The Witches and God, there was one that was really famous that they made a film out of. James and the Giant Peach. That was him too. Well, questionable view of children. I don't know about his views on anything at all in existence. I don't particularly care to. As soon as you actually try and get into like a creator's private life and what they actually think about things, you just ruin the work sometimes. Like, it just makes it hard to appreciate it. Like, that, what was his name? Orson Scott Card, I think? Wrote a bunch of books.
Yeah.
Like, Last Starfighter, I think was him. And he wrote Shadow Complex, and he also really, really, really hates gays. I didn't need to know that.
I didn't know that at all. Wow.
Yeah, don't ever learn about your heroes, children.
Yeah.
Not heroes, but people you enjoy.
Yeah.
Now I know that Ender's Game could never be Ender's Gay.
Proud of that, Zero? You happy?
I think that was him. I should probably double check that before I just slander. I think that would be in this case.
Yeah, he did Ender's Game as like a forced prequel to the stuff he actually wanted to write, if I recall correctly.
Oh, he's a super racist. And
I
yeah.
didn't know that either.
I mean, finish the trifecta, dude.
Yeah. And yeah, I was right about the anti-gay thing too. So yeah, not a great dude. Didn't need to know that, but I do, and I can't unknow it, so I can go back to enjoying things that he created. Fresh. So that's unfortunate. So if you enjoy someone's work, probably just enjoy their work and don't read too much into it.
Badly for all of us.
Sorry.
Just cut out really badly for all of us. We don't know exactly what you said.
Don't read into the people that you actually like the work of, because it's not worth it.
Yeah. Death of the author. Try to separate people from their work. I guess this is the advice I can give. If the work contains the bad stuff, then
I mean, his work does contain what I was referring to. I mean, look at what happens to the kids in his books.
It's been a long time since I read it. It's like,
I can't believe I forgot Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I feel bad about myself now. Then again, I do actually prefer some of his other books, so... Yeah. Also, he wrote a book called The Twits, which was about an old married couple that hated each other, and...
Oh, yes, I read that one.
Yeah, there was an entire section about, I think it was the husband gaslighting his wife. That was kind of weird. Yeah.
Doing what?
Oh my gosh, patient, your mic is like
you're really
wind
blowing
or something.
out your
I don't know. It's just
Sorry.
So, are you asking doing what as in
He's
outrage, or is that you just...
No, as in clarification. I didn't catch what you said.
Gaslighting. It's when you tell someone that something isn't what they think it is, and lying to them about it, and it just gradually deteriorates their mental state until they can't really function without you. It's a brainwashing technique. Yeah, it's weird.
Didn't quite think of it that way, but you have a point.
Zero, you were telling us what you've been doing this week. We got super off track, but I'm okay
I also said that you might have missed it, but I said that was it for my week. I'm just catching up on anime that I missed, and I don't have anything to say yet.
Speaking of catching up on anime, I haven't caught up on any anime, but I have watched My Hero Academia again because I felt like it and it's still awesome. So, yeah.
Season 3 in April.
Really?
Yeah.
Your ears perked up like a dog just now. I could feel it.
Yeah. Oh, they would, but they're covered by headphones.
You want to do a full intro series for that one?
Kind of.
Didn't we already kind of do that?
We did it for the manga.
We did it for the manga up to the point where season 2 ends. So it's perfectly timed. We need some joy in our lives. Ruby is draining from us episode by episode. We need this, Kenshi.
Whatever you say.
It's also probably going to be the best season of the whole show for a while.
2 episodes left. Just 2 episodes left. 1.5, technically. Just got to review it.
1.5 left of Ruby.
Yeah.
They just renewed my my Rooster Teeth first thing, and I was tempted to they sent me an email and they're like, we're gonna renew it, and I was like, oh, just.
It's $3. If it bothers you that much, I will reimburse you.
No, that's fine, but I just wished I could have canceled it.
Well, you can now. If it's already gone through, you can just cancel it.
Yeah, I guess.
And again, I say they do have other shows that are well written, that are worth checking out, but, I
don't have an interest in them. I have too many shows to watch already.
Yeah, so My Hero Academia, still great. I bought another game on PS4 because apparently I really don't want to play Switch for some reason. Don't understand why, but whatever. Maybe it's just the fact that I would have to... It's probably just the fact that I would have to set it up.
It's easier to set up than you think.
Not when you have to actually install an HDMI switcher and everything else as well at the same time. And probably rearrange my setup because it won't have room for it.
All you need is a power outlet and an HDMI cord.
Does it come with an HDMI cord?
Can't remember if it does. I think it does. Have you even opened it?
I have the box over there. I did open it, actually, but I didn't check exactly what the cables were.
Yeah, I believe it comes with an HDMI cord.
Okay. So, yeah. I bought Horizon Zero Dawn because Slicer talked about it last week, and it was super on sale.
I talked about it.
That was you? I thought it was Slicer. Oh, okay.
No, I talked about it.
Oh, well, sweet. That means I can actually talk about it and have someone to bounce thoughts off. So yeah, that's a pretty good game. Decided to play it on hard because, you know, things are skewing easier as time goes on for video games, so I figured that was probably a good shout.
I just went in on normal. The game does... It has a lot of enemies that are really tough and can deal a lot of damage, so I put it on normal.
Yeah, I put it on hard, and by the time I did basically the tutorial area, I had crafted most of the upgrades. So, at least in terms of resource gathering, I should probably have actually put it on a higher difficulty. But yeah, it's a solid game. It crashed a couple of times, like hard lookup, and I couldn't do anything about it. And then it did it again in the exact same place, which was like right after that trial thing that you do at the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, when you go into the mountain and such, and it crashed. So I started up again. Got past that bit, and then it crashed on the next cutscene, and doesn't leave a good impression when it crashes that early in a game, but...
I mean, but I think once or twice. Yeah.
So that was frustrating. Haven't really gone back to play very much since. But, yeah, it's alright. It's very Ubisoft open world style game, which is fine.
Yeah.
I haven't played one of those in a while, so... Yeah.
At the same time, when I played this, is after I've had a year full of games. You know? So, I came in with I got into that approach with a different sort of idea, I guess. I do want to try out, speaking of Ubisoft style open worlds, I do want to try out Assassin's Creed Origins. I've heard good things.
Yeah, me too, but it's an Assassin's Creed game, and that has a stigma now, so...
I skipped the last two games, so I think I'm ready to play more.
I skipped everything after 4.
Which was the last two games.
Technically, I also own, I think it was Rogue, was the one where you're a Templar, but it's basically Black Flag, only as a Templar.
I technically skipped everything after 3, but someone bought me Black Flag, so I played it.
Yeah,
and it was good, right?
Yes.
I never played, what was it, Freedom and Syndicate, or whatever the French one was.
Oh god, what was the French one? I keep thinking Unity, that's what it was called. Assassin's Creed Unity,
yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, Made in Unity. I never played that.
Assassin's Creed Game Development Engine. Good marketing. Yeah. Great marketing, considering all the problems that game had, actually, now think about it. Yeah, let's name this incredibly buggy game after the game engine it was built on.
I don't think it was actually made in Unity, but
Was it not? Oh,
I don't know. I would have to double check that, but that'd be funny if it was.
yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I've done this week. I mean, I've been vaguely on the sidelines participating in some quests on questionable questing, which is a part of like the space battles and etc. Fiction writing thing that I've not really actually touched on before. It's kind of interesting, and I'm considering doing one myself, but I would need to reset my accounts to be under my name instead of the Fandom Flux name. So, yeah, it's interesting stuff in like how the community sets the narrative and such. So, that was interesting, what I've been doing a lot for the past week or two. That's pretty much it. Patient, how's your microphone?
I believe the patient.
You have it fixed momentarily.
You'll have it fixed soon.
Okay. So Kenji, what have you been doing for the week?
All right. Let's see. Well, holidays and wintertime are slow going for getting booked for shows, but I finally have a show booked for February 17th, and I'll hopefully get some more dates in between that so I can start wrestling again because I really want to. So, yeah, that's first thing. Let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah. By the time this comes out, I may or may not have updated 2 stories that may include the Naruto Street Fighter story, the newest challenger, of which I am nearing the end of that one. Yeah, in the last arc of that story, I have no idea how many chapters it'll take to finish, but I think it'll be less than 10. We'll see.
Cool. You actually updated a story I didn't even know you were still writing recently.
Yeah, that's where I go to when I just need to vent with stupid ideas and comedy.
Fair play.
Or my excuse for comedy.
And what is that supposed to mean? Do you not have a good sense of humor? Also, am I coming through all right?
A little better. Maybe back off the mic a little bit.
Fair enough. I discovered that it's actually...
Oh boy, okay.
Oh boy, yeah. There's like it feels like there's wind or something in the mic.
All right, hang on a sec.
Okay. What are you saying, Kenji?
Yeah, to answer Patient's question, I don't know. I think my sense of humor isn't for everyone. I think I have a jerk sense of humor in some cases, where things I find funny in some cases are mean-spirited to other people. So, I don't know.
As an aside, as soon as everyone jumped into the call, Kenji made a weird noise and then berated us for making weird noises immediately after. So, just as an aside.
Yeah, like I said, I am not a nice person.
Okay, so I found it was that I actually had a microphone built into my headphone, and I guess
so anytime you breathe, it was basically blowing into the microphone. That makes sense.
Basically, yeah.
That's what it
So
sounded
I opened my system preferences to go ahead and tell it to use the internal microphone on my computer instead, and it wouldn't let me.
Oh.
So I had to unplug my headphones. Now, see, the reason that I wasn't just doing that sooner was that I was a bit indisposed with a dog on my lap. So.
Well, one thing you can do, I've had this problem with my mic before, is just disable go into your devices and then disable your headphone mic.
Yeah, you can force disable it, and it'll default to one that actually works.
I'll take a look into that. Anyway, sorry for interrupting, Kenji.
It's all good. Let's see. In addition to that, What else has Kenji been doing? Not much, really. This has been a very slow week after, last week of getting drunk and then getting lost and then getting drunk and then getting drunk again and doing things that I can't remember. It's been a very tame, ending week.
You have an interesting definition of tame, but okay.
Listen, you must try to live as much of an outrageous life as possible, because one day you won't be able to anymore. And when you're sitting back one day telling stories, do you want to have the stories of where everything was all right and nothing happened, even if that something was weird and sometimes frightening? Or do you want to have the stories that just have people staring at you about, why are you here right now? Because I know what I'd rather be.
Can't you just make me sad?
It wasn't meant to make you sad.
I'm mostly kidding.
It was meant to explain why I am the way I am.
All right. We're getting through this way faster than I thought we would, but fuck it, who cares? Patient, how's your week been?
Well, not really much remarkable. I got a job interview, and it doesn't seem to have come to anything, unfortunately.
That sucks.
It would have been nice if it had come to something, but what can you do? Just keep on trying. We're making a decent, strong world. We've almost got enough to send our patrons their preview. Our patrons are increasing at an impressive rate. It's still surreal, really, just how... Wonder why Kenji's not listening.
I assume you got a phone call or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, not really that much going on now.
Holy hell, you're not kidding. Good job.
What? Oh, right.
I looked at your Patreon page.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's ridiculous. It's amazing, really. Equally so, we've finally gotten out of the triple-digit distance between us and the top 5. Last we checked, last night, 89 more favorites to go before we overtake Adopted by Default.
It's a race to the top, Patient.
Yes, it is. And once we get there, you're next.
Oh, no. Why is everyone gunning for me?
Because you're the best.
First bomber, now you.
Everyone wants to be the top dog. Nothing wrong with that.
You know what?
I'm not gunning for anybody.
If you're not willing to fight for the crown, how much is it worth to you?
About nothing. Really
I may
not.
or may not be checking my standings on a certain section.
Don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to
Six.
know.
If the crown is you're the best at fan fiction, I don't think I need it.
All crowns have value if you're willing to look at it that way.
I guess.
Anyway.
I've evolved past the crown. I have transcended. I am enlightened.
Sure. Anyway, Patient.
Yes.
Proceed, my friend.
Well, my girlfriend finally got my Christmas package.
Ooh.
Yeah. She complimented the homemade toffee that I got her. That I made her, rather.
Nice.
I'm glad she liked it. Also, her mother's coming around. Apparently a friend of her mother's is dating someone in England now. Something you want to tell us, Casey? Kidding.
Ah,
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, though.
I don't know who this person is, but I can say I wish, I guess.
Sorry.
Probably accurate regardless, so, it's fine.
So, yeah, she's all for us meeting in person at this point, so now it's just a matter of my girlfriend's schedule cooperating and both of us getting the necessary funds together.
That's
and
right.
I sort of need a job for that.
Well, you're making strides, because last we heard they weren't all for it, but now her mom's for it, so you're making progress.
Her father was accepting. It was her mother. And so,
Yeah, you cut out a little bit there, but I
But
think
yeah.
we get the gist.
okay.
Incidentally, I'm 70 away from the top 3. I just wanted to mention that.
Thanks for that update.
You're welcome.
All right, let's see. Anything else? A few more brainstorms for the last saga before the time skip. So that'll be nice. It'll be nice to get to that. And
The last one.
so-
I have to assume you're compressing a lot of different things together then.
well, I mean, the Marineford saga is one saga.
And Impel Down and Shibondi and...
Yes, but all of that goes under the same saga. It's a massive saga, sure, but it's still the last one.
Alright, if you say so. I separate those out personally, but that's just me.
Ah.
In this
how it
instance,
says it
you
on-
guys are the experts, so you know better than me.
I feel like there was something really funny that I could say here, but I can't remember what it was.
Casey's dumb. It's usually a good one for being funny.
See, it made me laugh.
No.
No? Okay.
Well, yeah, I suppose there's not really much else to bring up. Sorry for not having more interesting things to say.
That's all right. I didn't have anything. Yeah. So we're at about 40 minutes, so you should probably have something to talk about.
Didn't we go long last week?
Well, last week we had all the Christmas stuff, so we also had Slicer on.
You guys want to bring back?
Do you have any?
Let's go with how to start a store release the episodes.
I don't know. This ain't my show.
Casey,
Yeah, Casey. It ain't my show.
I don't mind if there's something we can talk about, then we should talk about it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess we'll bring back a
How do you
topic just
how-
for this episode.
How do you start a story?
There was no fanfare or whatever for that. All
Yeah,
right.
It's a deep question. You should all just stop and contemplate that for a second. It's like Zen or something.
the easiest answer is to just start. Because,
In both senses, well done, Zero.
yeah, no, but like, I've known a lot of people who have wanted to write something, or they come to me and they don't know exactly where to start their story, because like, especially if you're writing like a book or something rather than just like a fan fiction, And so a piece of advice that I've always had been told to me is start where you want to start the most. Like the part that you want to write the most, write that first, and then write everything else around. Is something that I've been told.
It kind of works for me because the way I don't start stories like that, but as I go on writing, I'll think of certain scenes or certain trains of dialogue that I like, and I'll write that out, and that'll motivate me for like 3 or 4 or 5 chapters to get to that point, so I can actually write it into a scene. So that is a fairly effective way of getting yourself going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What usually happens for me is I think, that could be a good idea for a story. Not going to write it, but it's probably a good idea. And then time will pass. I'll be like, oh yeah, that idea. Hey, I could probably take that this way as well. That'd be pretty cool. And, well, if I was ever going to write it, that'd probably be a good idea. And then some more time will pass, and I'll be like, if I did this too, this would actually be a really good framework for this. I should actually write this, so I'm totally going to do that. And then I write like 5 chapters, and then I stop, because that's me. And usually what happens at that point is my writing style turns into letting a chapter percolate for about 3 or 4 months, and then eventually I will put it down on Word document. If you look at my update speed, you might notice this is probably not a good method. So, it's not exactly conducive to prolific writing. So,
then again, there's also the Zero and Kenshi tandem method, where like one of us will come up with a really stupid idea, and the other one will expand on it, and then we'll just bounce it back and forth, getting progressively stupider yet making sense.
Yeah, if you have somebody else to bounce ideas off of, that helps so much.
Yeah.
And then one of you will say, hey, I'm totally going to write this thing. And then he writes 2 chapters of it and then abandons it completely.
This has happened twice. This has happened at least twice. Once with a Krillin and Dragon Ball Z story that I wanted to do really bad, and Zero had dibs on, and he made 1 chapter, and now it doesn't exist. And again, with a tennis Yakuza story that I am still actually going to write. I'm still just working that out. It's going to be an actual thing that I'm going to try and make money off of. That's still.
We'll see where that goes.
I look forward to it.
Yakuza Prince of Tennis.
Go ahead, patient.
Yeah, go ahead.
Having the ideas in mind is the most important thing. I mean, this Bites has gotten this far, not just, well, it's a group effort, obviously. Zomniac has everything planned out, at least in the vague sense, ahead of time. So, begin with the end in mind. That's a major piece of advice. And another saying, how does it go? Once begun is half done. Getting started is the hardest part, but...
No. Half done, not in the slightest, but yeah.
One thing I do want to say in regards to, actually starting your story is that if you're writing like a fanfic, don't publish it immediately. And this is something I've learned through a lot of experiences. Take some time with your story and maybe write a little bit more. Try to know where you're going with the story and what you want to do.
Indeed.
Before you actually put it out there.
Yeah. I mean, the one... I've done 2 stories. One was a group of interconnected one-shots, and the other was just a one-shot. So the stories that I have planned, they're good ideas, but I don't want to start posting them until they're fleshed out ideas. Got a solid plan for things in general. So
Yeah.
Probably a good idea to see whether a story has legs before you run with it, so to speak.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I took a long time to publish my Ruby story was because I wanted to see where I was going with it, and when I did put out the first chapter, I already knew what the ending was going. Like, I have a good idea of where that's going to go end.
In general, the best stories are the ones that are planned out ahead of time.
Oh.
Not that there's anything wrong with doing a more vague, organic style of writing, because that leads to a story that is more fun to write a lot of the time.
Yes, I'll concede that.
But
More fun to write
you're less,
usually has more consistent characters, is what I'd say.
but you're less likely to finish it.
Very, very true.
Like, knowing where you want to start and where you want to end, and then telling the story in between, does have a lot of strong points to it. You don't need to know everything about your story. You can leave some things up in the air and do kind of a semi-organic, semi-structured stance, which is what I kind of do.
Yeah, and I mean, that's sort of what the Crossbrain does. We have a general sense of the plot planned out ahead of time. We plan out the finer details when we get there, and the finest of fine details, such as elsewhere on the Grand Line, Hottery murders come out in the heat of the moment.
Okay, that cut out a little bit, so we didn't get most of that.
Why must you always cut out to ruin my jokes? Why?
But one thing I did want to just kind of say is, if you are writing a big story, like a book or something, like a novel, your first draft of the book isn't your final draft. So you can always change things before you put it out there.
Absolutely.
You know, so don't sweat too much on just writing.
Oh, I'm not.
Fact-checking is good.
Yeah.
Like,
problem I have, personally, is I am a perfectionist in certain things. Writing is one of them. I want it to be exactly how I want it to be the first time I put it down on the page. That's not a great way to do that, and you probably shouldn't, and it's more one of my neuroses that is kind of forcing me to keep doing it. But if you can avoid it and just write freely and just let the writing happen and then tidy it up after the fact, that's a way better way to do it.
yeah, and starting your story of, like, I'm just gonna write what I want to write, and then I'll change it afterwards to make it look better. And then you get something real nice and real good.
Maybe.
You put the effort in.
That's not making any guarantees, but, you know.
Hey, you know, I think the first story, the one where you had a lot of fun, but you didn't go back and look at it, and now you're just kind of long-term setting yourself up for destruction. Or short-term. Ruby. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, let's be honest. Depending on where you publish this story, whether it's fanfiction or whatever, you will get people that will say they like it regardless. You know, take that with however much salt you feel like, but that will happen.
Even if you're publishing something somewhat like it.
Yeah. And if you're writing like I do want to point out that a novel, for example, or a long fan fiction, it's a huge undertaking. And it's a lot easier if you want to get more practice to write and finish a story, to just do short stories or like even flash fiction pieces, which are typically really short, sub 1,000 words. But trying to get a feeling for what it's like to actually write something and have it be there and started and done really helps. My dog is barking. I hope he's okay. I wrapped him in a blanket because it was cold.
That was my dog impression. That was pretty proud of it. It's a good one. So it's 50 minutes.
You want to do another topic?
You still have other things to do.
Like recommendations?
You do have recommendations to do.
No, I don't, Patient, just to get that out of the way now.
Nor do I. Do either of you?
Greek guy did. He recommended a thing. I couldn't read it for reasons.
Do you want to read it?
Maybe. Here's the thing. What he recommended was a Ruby story. Coral Aran, the prolific Ruby-specific writer.
I am that dude.
Yeah, cool dude. He wrote a story that is done in basically biography format kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a story of Jean from Ruby accidentally becoming a great general and hero and such and such and such and such, only he actually sucks in reality. He's written this story before. Only it's the framing device is it's from the perspective of Ren, who was basically his number 2. Unfortunate circumstance of that is it's done in style where like it's aping something from a Warhammer 30,000. I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about Warhammer, but from one of those books where the author or the framing device author, that is, would have interjections into the story as it's ongoing. That device on its own is probably fine. But for how much fucking fanfiction I've read, I have seen so many authors use that device not as part of a framing device, but as the author themselves just bull rushing through the fourth wall so they can say their quote-unquote witty comment on ongoing events, and it is always terrible.
I honestly just really don't like author interjections in general, because you're slowing down the flow of the story.
Slowing down the flow of the story, in this case breaking the fourth wall, and ruining the reader's investment and engagement with the story, because all of a sudden
your immersion is just kind of
out of the story.
It just pulls you straight out, and that's problematic. Like there's certainly a way you could probably do that properly, but in today's kind of culture where that sort of fourth wall breaking thing is so common that it just doesn't work.
Yeah, so the recommendation that he made, Greek guy, by the way, is who recommended it, was The Beacon Civil War. I'll link it, I guess, but this is not my recommendation. It's probably fine. It's probably a good story, but I cannot read it.
Yeah, somebody wants to read us and tell us if it's actually really, really fun. Give us a second opinion, just so we can, like, I don't know, give it a chance. Just the concept of that alone just doesn't sit well with me.
It probably doesn't help that it's a story that he's basically already written in the form of Professor Ark, which is the same kind of concept. Jean is not a badass, but people believe he is because he's really good at bullshitting. That's Professor Ark. It's basically the same thing. So
it's like if you write all these stories about one single character and do hundreds of thousands of words for each of them, they all start to become the same thing.
Whoa.
Hi, Kenshi.
Hi.
Hi, Kenshi. How you doing, Kenshi?
I'm cool.
You know what's funny? The reason we used to shit on space battles all the time is because they hated Kenshi for exactly that reason.
At the very least, I find Kenshi's interpretations of the character to be varied enough that it's fine.
Yeah. It's still funny though. I did not add any alerts on fanfiction.net. That is unfortunate. I'd almost want to recommend something from Questionable Questing, but linking to that stuff is really difficult, so I'm just going to leave it for this week. And in fact, I can't actually link to it because you need an account to actually read any of these stories I've been reading. So I'm going to leave it. And anyone else got any recommendations?
Still trying to catch up on things.
Patient?
Well, I've recommended this before, but it's undergoing a rewrite now, and I haven't touched it in years. May as well go ahead and recommend it again. Just give me a moment. Let's see here. And okay, it's Pokemon Fan Path of the Chosen. Am I coming through? It looks like
It was chopping out a little bit for a second there. Path of the Chosen, a Pokemon fic.
Yes. It's divided up into several parts. This is centered around a character indigenous to the world of Pokemon, the anime world. I grew up in Pallet Town, a couple of years older than Ash Ketchum. Ash doesn't appear much in the story. I think he only appeared once. And that's further down the line. Several years. Just follows her on her journey. She has a mild amount of psychic ability, allowing her to commune with her Pokemon. It honestly adds more to the story, in my opinion. The first version of the story just shows going through the Kanto region and trying to complete her Pokedex and make her team the best it can be. Her starter is a Ponyta. What was that, Casey?
Nothing, never mind.
No, seriously, what did you say? I can be very patient. Would you mind telling me, or will we sit here all?
It was the theme song.
Pardon? Oh, okay.
You said be the very best, so I naturally finished the line like you're supposed to. So
I had to fight to not do it, to be honest.
I remember liking the story. It didn't seem... I mean, a couple of things seemed a little contrived, but nothing in an outrageous sort of... So, it's something that wouldn't happen to an average Pokemon trainer, but I think it works. I think the author pulls it off well. And like I said, the story's undergoing a rewrite now. I don't know what all they've changed, but goes for a few incarnations. I believe the most recent one is covering the Black and White series.
Like, the contrivance thing, I mean, it is set in the anime, and if you're going to compare it to the source material, a couple of contrivances are not going to stand out in the slightest. and
like I said,
I mean, in fairness, fanfiction are, oddly enough, a lot more scrutinized for that sort of thing. It's weird, but it's how it happens.
So, yeah. I remember loving the story when I read it. So, that's my recommendation. Path of the Chosen by Fern Girl.
Hmm.
I've got the Ferngully theme stuck in my head.
Apparently, she has written more than... Apparently, she's also written the Kalos region. No. She's started the one for the Kalos region. Okay.
Path of the Chosen 2, 3, 5, 6. That's a lot of Paths of the Chosen.
I wonder.
Do you?
I just had a really random thought. Just
Uh-oh.
completely off the wall. I think I mentioned way back in the day a fic that I read that went completely off the rails in comedic fashion. Comedic from the outside and in a meta sense, but not in the inside, where the story just went absolutely bananas for no real reason. It was a Hitman Reborn fic. No? No one remembers? Fair enough. Yeah, I just had a, like I say, completely random thought. I wonder if that fic is still going. It was several million words at the time.
Several million word.
Hmm.
I remember there was one Persona fanfic that was like an OC thing for a million words and it disappeared. I'll never know what happened to it.
Million words for one fic. Looks like Kenji needs to step his game up.
For those who don't know, 100,000 words to 150,000 words, that's usually enough for a full book.
Mm-hmm.
At least, a big book. You write 1 million words, you're writing a Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
And then some.
I'm still.
You're writing the play on top of that, and fanfic.
Apparently, at some point, this section actually kind of exploded, and there are a lot more stories than there used to be. So, bear with me. I will find it. But probably not immediately.
Yeah. I don't want to sit here and listen to you look for a story.
Yeah. So, oh well. So, I should probably close this out, and I can end the episode.
Yeah, let's,
You're not gonna find it, Casey.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, so I should stop trying. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening.
Have a little more patience, Kenji. Let him find.
Fandom Flux.
Yeah.
it doesn't become good podcast material if
If you would like to get in contact with us, you can do so through
Oh my god.
the YouTube channel, through the comments, or through our Discord. There's a link in the description for joining it. It is free to do so. However, if you would like to donate to us on Patreon, we would very much appreciate you doing so that we can continue doing completely pointless, drawn-out segments like this one, where Casey just randomly looks through an entire section for a story he read several years ago, ill-advised because it was a terrible story, but you understand the inclination to do so, you know.
Oh my god.
Sometimes you just have that urge to find something that you forgot about. Right?
It's hardly pointless.
It's just a thing you have to do
I'm
sometimes.
gonna vomit. Okay, if that story had like 7 million words, why didn't you just switch the sorting mechanism to words?
Have a little more patience.
You can't do that. You can sort it to update, publish, reviews, favorites, follows.
I thought it was up to. I thought you could sort it by words. I
You
remember
can, but it's only 100,000 words or greater. And there are a surprising number of those. So,
Well, shit then. Well, you finished what you were gonna say, so
I did,
too late.
unfortunately.
Tune in next week on this cliffhanger. Will Casey find the fic or not?
No.
The answer is probably no.
Yeah, I got nothing. So.
Okay. We love you all for listening to us.
Once again, thank you everybody for listening. Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 205.
Thanks.
Take
I actually
care,
forgot
everyone.
that line. So
Come back and listen to us next time when Casey find what.
And we probably hopefully have better audio also. Hopefully.
I think that the computers are showing that they have zero interest in allowing people to speak anymore on this podcast.
Well, I think I have full interest in this conversation next week. So bye, everybody.
Bye.